Okay, let us start. Ms. Katakis, kindly lead the prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Good morning, class. So before you take your seats, arrange your chairs properly, and if you see any piece of paper or kind of trash under your chairs, please pick it up, and if there's none, you may sit down. Mr. Tari, do we have an absentee for today? Very good. Since everyone is present for this morning, give yourselves 5 claps. Last meeting, I gave you an assignment, right? Now bring it out, pass it forward, and bring it to the front and to me. Okay, thank you. So before we dive into our formal discussion, let us first have an activity. May I request everybody to please stand for an activity as a quick review of our previous topic. So are you all familiar with activity Simon Says? It seems that a lot of you know this activity, but for those who do not, here is the mechanics. So I will say an independent statement or conditional statement, and you just need to do the condition as instructed. So for example, if I say, if you have hands, then you need to wave it. So what you're going to do is just to wave your hand because you have hands. So understand? Okay, let's start. So here is the first statement. Simon says, if you are wearing white socks, then jump 2 times. Okay, very good. Since from those who jump, can you identify please with which is the hypothesis and the conclusion in the statement? Okay, very good. So the hypothesis in the statement is the phrase, if you are wearing white socks. Well, the conclusion is the phrase, then jump 2 times. Is it clear? Okay, let's do another one. If you have brown eyes, then strike a pose. Wow! Since you have the most beautiful pose, can you please tell me which is the hypothesis and the conclusion in the statement? Okay, that is correct. So the hypothesis is the phrase, if you have brown eyes. Well, the conclusion is the phrase, then strike a pose. So for the last one, Simon says, if you're ready to learn, you do the yo-yo dance. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Since you have the most groovy moves, can you please tell me which is the hypothesis and the conclusion in the statement? Okay, that is correct. So the hypothesis in the statement is if you're ready to learn. Well, the conclusion is the phrase, then do the yo-yo dance. So I am very happy that you can still remember our previous topic. So, and it seems that you really learned from it. So, for this morning, we will be discussing for a new topic. So, before doing that, let us first have an activity. So, this activity is entitled Arrange Me. So, here is the direction. I will be dividing you into 3 groups. Each group will receive a set of different letters, and you need to arrange it to unlock the hidden word within 90 seconds. Once you are done, you need to paste it on the board, and the fastest to finish the task will receive a reward from me. Is it clear? Yes, sir. Okay, now count 1 to 3 starting from you. Okay, group 1 here, group 2, and then group 3. So here are your set of letters. Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. Now their activity. Okay, time is up. Please paste your answer on the board. Okay, Group 1, what word have you formed from the different letters that I have given you? Okay, that is correct. So that the word given from their letters is the word inverse. How about Group 2? Okay, that is correct. So the word is converse. How about the Group 3? What word did you come up with? Okay, that is correct. It is a contrapositive. So these words, so our activity, particularly the words, the inverse, the converse, and the contrapositive, has something to do with our today's lesson. So anyone from you who can, what do you think is our topic for this morning? Okay, that is correct. So our topic for this morning is all about the inverse, converse, and contrapositive of an if and then statement. So before we formally start our lesson, let us first, uh, let me paste this first. Here is our topic for this morning. So before we formally start, let me first introduce to you our learning objectives. Everybody, please read. Okay, thank you. So let us let us have first a pre-activity about our discussion. So we will call this activity as fill me up. So in here, we have three different columns. So the first column is for the symbol. So it is indicated in the first column the given symbol. So this will be our given. So in the second column we have the form. So what you're going to do here is to provide which what in what form does these symbols are. And for the third, you will write how do we read that, how do we read this symbol. Okay, who would like to volunteer? Yes, Anna. For number one. For number two, who would like to answer? Yes, Elsa. For number three, who would like to answer? Yes, Paula. Thank you. Uh, so to have a clear understanding of our topic for this morning, let me discuss it to you one by one. So the first one is the converse. So when everybody please read. So when we say converse, it is obtained by interchanging the hypothesis and the conclusion, meaning we make our in making our new hypothesis, we just transform our conclusion as our new hypothesis, while the hypothesis as our new conclusion. So let us have an example here. So if the conditional statement here is, if you study hard, then you will get a high score in your quiz. So which is the hypothesis in the statement? Okay, that is correct. So the hypothesis in the statement is if you study hard. How about the conclusion? Oh, that is correct also. The conclusion is then you will get a high score in your quiz. So since we have the hypothesis and the original hypothesis and conclusion, who can identify which is our what will be our converse statement? So the converse statement here is if you get a high score in your quiz, then you study hard. So based on our example, you can see here that our conclusion turns out to be our new hypothesis, while our hypothesis becomes our new conclusion. So another example, a right angle is an angle that measures 90 degrees. Can you please transform this first in an if-and-then statement? Yes, Miss Mara. Okay. Let us see if your answer is correct. So the if-and-then statement is, if an angle is right, then it measures 90 degrees. So you are correct. So who among you can transform this into a converse statement? Okay, that is right. If an angle measures 90 degrees, then it is right angle. Is it clear? Can I ask someone to volunteer to give an example of a real life, or your own example of how do we of a converse statement? State first your conditional statement, then followed by converse statement. Okay, thank you. That is very good. So the next one is the next form is the inverse statement. So the inverse of a conditional statement is formed by negating both the hypothesis and the conclusion. So what do you mean by the word negating? Yeah. So negating is by making the meaning opposite to the original. So for example, if a number is even, then it is divisible by 2. So here, this is our original, the conditional statement. So by inversing it, we will have if a number is not even, then it is not divisible by 2. So the word that we can use as clue in negating the statement is the word not or no. But how about, but what if we have another example like this? If two lines has no point of intersection, then they are parallel. So that is the original statement. As you can observe, yes, that you're correct. There is the word no in the original statement. So how are we going to negate it? How are we going to make an inverse statement of that example? Anyone from you? Okay, that is correct. If two lines has a point of intersection, then they are not parallel. As you can see, we negate the original statement by removing the word no by replacing it with the word a or a. And in the conclusion, we use the word not since in our original statement it has no it has no words such as not. So anyone from you who would like to give their own example of an inverse statement? Just like the conditional statement, state first your independent statement and then your inverse statement. Okay, that is correct. So the third form is the contrapositive. So everybody please read. So contrapositive, in contrapositive, it is basically the the combination of the converse and the inverse statement. So why did I say so? Because in contrapositive, we negate and interchange the hypothesis and the conclusion at the same time. So, and also, what can you observe based on our other form? What can you say about the contrapositive? That is correct. So contrapositive is just basically an inverse of our converse. Uh, we know that the converse is the symbol for converse is Q. Q implies P, and inversing it will give us the negation of Q. In negation of Q implies negation of P, and that is also our contrapositive statement. So in that we can say that the contrapositive is the inverse of a converse statement. So to give you an example, here is to make it more clear for you. Let us have an example. So if a figure is a polygon, and then it is a triangle, who can transform this into a contrapositive statement? Yes. So that is correct. So the contrapositive statement of this if and then statement is if it is not a triangle, then the figure is not a polygon. As we can, just like from our definition, we interchange the hypothesis and the conclusion, and then we negate it. Another one. So our if statement here is if I take a bath early in the morning, then I will So the if statement is if I take a bath early in the morning, then I will go to school. So Who would like to transform this into a contrapositive statement? That is correct. If I am not going to school, then I will not take a bath early in the morning. We just negate it and interchange it simultaneously. So any one of you who can give their own example of what is of a contrapositive statement? Yes. So that is correct. So to test if you really have learned what I have taught you earlier, let us have an activity here. So it is entitled, If You Provide, Then I'll Check. So you just need to think of at least one if-then statement and provide its inverse, contrapositive, and converse, then share it to the class. So you are given 5 minutes to do the task, and then we will proceed with sharing. Okay, time's up. So 5 minutes is already done. So who would like to volunteer to share their answer in the class? So that is correct. Anyone? Another one. Who would like to share? Yes. So that is correct also. Since all of you already understand or know how to determine the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of an if-then statement, I have here a few questions for you. So what do you think is the importance of the inverse, converse, and contrapositive statement? Yes. So that is correct. So the importance of the inverse, converse, and contrapositive statement is that we can make a conclusion already about what we are doing or what our actions we are doing, even though we haven't done the activity yet. So another question is, how can you apply this how can you apply any of the three forms, the inverse, converse, and contrapositive in daily life? Yes, that is correct. So another one? Yes. So that is correct also. So before we end our discussion, let us first have a let us first summarize our discussion. So anyone who can differentiate differentiate the inverse, converse, and contrapositive? Yes. That's correct. Another answer? Yes. So that is correct also. So by differentiating them, so the inverse to differentiate, so the inverse statement is obtained by negating the hypothesis and the conclusion, while the converse is obtained by interchanging the conclusion and the hypothesis. On the other hand, the contrapositive statement is obtained by interchanging and negating the hypothesis and the conclusion at the same time. So to test if you really learned our topic for this morning, I have here a quiz. So please take one and pass. So you have 5 minutes to answer the quiz. Okay, thank you. Please pass it forward and then to the front. So for our assignment, for your assignment, write a poem that uses sentences or statements in conditional form. It must include the inverse, converse, and contrapositive statements. So is it clear? So you need to pass it on the next meeting, the same time tomorrow. So is it clear? So let's call it a day. Goodbye, everyone. See you around. Thank you.
No.